You ready to take bridal portraits in natural, harsh, direct sunlight? Let's get to it. So one of the first things I want us to talk about or think about is when we're shooting in hard, natural light, is how to work with it, okay? So I don't want her looking away from the light. I actually want her looking directly into the light. We're gonna work with that. Some tricks, if you will, are to give them a 3 count. So if you have a bride on a wedding day, get them to their pose, but you don't want this kind of like squishy face, right? That's nobody wants that. So what I'm gonna end up having them do is getting their body posed into the light, looking away, chin up, and eyes closed, and then give them a 3 count. 1, 2, 3, and you should be on high burst mode in your camera because you're looking for that one frame, right, where they're not like this. We don't want that face, nobody wants that. And then some other things to consider. Yes, we have a building behind us, but if it weren't a building, it could be a sky behind us. One of the things we want to understand, at least from a technical perspective, is the same light that's hitting our subject is the same light that's hitting our background. So it's gonna be a very nice, even exposure, very pleasing to the eye. If you wanna burn down the building in post-production, we can do that as well, right? So those are the things that are going through my mind as I set up a shot like this. Also, one last thing before we start shooting, as we're shooting up on her, we want to reduce skew as much as possible. So we're going to pull back as much as we can, right? Depending on the day, we might not be able to get this far back. So I've got a 2870 for my camera. You want to have a mid lens, and then we'll switch to a tighter one. But architecturally speaking, I want the door, the lights, the balcony, and that 3rd floor. Now, again, one other thing to keep in mind, I see it all the time when people use architecture in their background, skew, right? So as you start moving this camera, your lines start skewing, right? So do your best in frame to keep those lines, right? There's strong horizontal lines in the building. And so do your best to keep those strong horizontal lines straight. Meaning, one, we want to be here at the door, right? Straight on the door. So we'll all have a chance to shoot. If you start moving just a foot or 2 off to the side, those lines start skewing, almost impossible to get straight. Sure, you can fix it in post, but nobody wants to put a 20 by 30 print on their wall with skewed lines going through it, especially when it's you and you're just being freaking lazy, right? So move your feet, get to a spot where you're squaring up the building, your secondary element, and you'll make for a better shot. Make sense? All right, so I am going into high speed burst on my camera, right? I want that brrr. So if anything, this is that moment where you always hear people, when we make fun of them, spray and pray. You're spraying and praying right now, right? So get all the details set up. We're not spraying and praying for exposure or any of that other stuff. That should all be dialed in, but we want that perfect veil throw, and that's where timing's really tough. So I want to shoot through that. You don't have insurance, okay? Can leave her here. That's what, if we got to do it.
It's a terrible thing to say.
I know, I'm on camera, sorry. I didn't mean that. We'll take care of her with the Italian health insurance.
So you're on your own.
You're